10,000 years ago, someone made a decision, but to act. A stone blade, no metal, no precision instruments, and still controlled, deliberate. The bone grew back, which means this person lived. Same operation, different worlds. Same idea, discovered again and again. Before cities, before science, before we understood anything, we tried to save each other.
That's where medicine begins.
From stone knives to editing life itself. 5,000 years or since, one question. The story of how we refused to stop.
We kept going.
Imagine being a healer with nothing, only instinct, only risk. Now risk. Someone is dying right in front of you, and you are all they have. Five operations, same patient. And survived every time. Not primitive, precise. They shaped the edges, used multiple tools. This wasn't survival, this was expertise. No textbooks, no biology, pattern observation, and extraordinary courage.
Still the same today.
Around 1600 BC, something extraordinary was written. The first surgical text. 48 cases, structured, systematic. No magic, no prayer, cause and effect. 4,000 years ago. If the skull is intact, treat. If the bone is shattered, do not treat. A decision system, 3,600 years old. For most of human history, disease was not biology, it was something else. Then one man said something radical. Disease has natural causes. Not gods, not spirits, not Sano. We still follow this. 2,500 years later.
Still the foundation.
Galen of Pergamon, the most influential physician in history. He learned from wounds. He studied what he could see. Observation again. And yet, he was catastrophically wrong. Not just a little wrong, almost everything. No one questioned him. Not for 14 centuries. Progress, frozen. While Europe slowed, something extraordinary happened. The Islamic golden age of medicine. Knowledge, moving again. Ibn Sina, 800 drugs, quarantine, contagion understood. Centuries ahead of their time. They didn't just preserve knowledge, they transformed it and carried it forward. Let me tell you about a man who looked where no one was allowed to look and changed everything. He dissected human bodies. Dozens of them. They don't match. The jaw, the sternum, the liver, the heart, the human body was different. Reality corrected.
Heretic Lesnar!
Outrage, denial, attack. The system protects itself. This is the lesson. Every generation must relearn it.
Question everything.
He asked a question no one had properly asked. Where does all this blood go? The math. He measured the output, calculated volume per minute. Unless it circulates. He was ridiculed until the evidence became overwhelming. A complete system. Smallpox killed millions, but she noticed something. Some people were protected. One experiment, one child, and it worked. One observation, one experiment, one child, the beginning of the end, gone. Now, I want to tell you something that should make you angry. It should. 2 wards, same hospital. Something is wrong. He noticed they came from the morgue into the delivery room without washing. He introduced one change, and everything changed.
It worked.
If he was right, they'd been killing their own patients. No one wants to believe that. He was fired, ridiculed, abandoned. The same thing he fought. He was right, but too early. It took others to prove it.
Truth delayed.
And sometimes it destroys the people who are right.
The cost of truth.
But the story doesn't end there, because now medicine is about to find what it was looking for. Something hidden. He asked a simple question. Where does life come from? Why doesn't anything grow? People believe life came from nothing. Maggots, from meese, from bad air. Krill. It looked real. Nothing grew because nothing reached it. The difference is contact. Then Koch did something critical. He linked specific organisms to specific diseases, cause and effect. For the first time, medicine could see its enemy. Germ theory changed everything. Now, it can be fought. Once we saw the enemy, and everything changed. One discovery became everything. Before 1846, surgery was torture. Skill was speed. Faster or they die. October 16, 1846, he breathes and goes under. No pain. And then, this is no humbug. The moment everything changed. Within months, the world changed. Everywhere. Then came antiseptics. And death dropped. Infection stopped. Together, they transformed surgery from last resort to first option. He left it and came back to something strange. What? What is that? He looked at it. That's funny. He was looking at the first antibiotic. They purified it and scaled it. And in the war, what once saved killed, now heals. Before antibiotics hooks, any of these could kill you. An entire category gone. A messy desk, a contaminated dish, 200 million lives from one accident. But every solution creates a new problem.
They evolve.
700,000 deaths every year and rising. He warned us, Par. This is not failure. This is responsibility. Watch closely. The 20th century became the century of vaccines, one by one. $1.8 million children.
And it worked.
The fastest vaccine in history, built on decades of invisible work. 30 years for one moment. Most discoveries don't look important at first, until they are. Keep going. For the first time, we could see inside the living body. I have seen my death. From shadows to structure to function.
Deeper. Clearer.
Found early, treated. Found late, too late. Timing is everything. For the first time, we could stop the heart and keep the patient alive. Life maintained. Before this, no surgery. After this, everything.
Inside the heart.
And then, what? It beat.
Alive.
18 days was not failure. It was proof. From days, unit to decades. Progress compounds. We have always known cancer, but we did not know how to fight it. It changes everything. We are winning. Learn in some place, not all. A partial victory. In the 1960s, childhood leukemia was a death sentence. Today, 90% survive. Some diseases we may erase completely. Immunotherapy teaches the body to fight back.
Recognize, it's destroy.
They found the brakes and removed them. And patients lived. Every decade to something new. Not a miracle, is movement. Slow, but real. This is the question. We are getting closer. Precision. For most of history, we misunderstood the mind. Fear, not science. He saw patients, not possessions. You are free. Dignity. We can see it, and when that we don't fully understand it.
Still mapping.
Delayed, but moving. Catch. April 25th, 1953. The structure of life revealed. The code begins. The most important sentence. An understatement. But this came from her. The image that made it clear was seen without her knowledge.
The truth was visible.
She died God before recognition, and so history tarred her.
Too late.
Science is not just discovery, it is memory.
Who is seen?
Once we understood the structure, everything accelerated. Unlock, unlock, unlock. 3 billion base pairs. The instruction manual for a human. The code of you. 13 years, $3 billion. Now, a few days. Faster, cheaper. We thought as we understood, but most of it, we are still learning. Untranslated. Now, we can read the mutations, predict risk, and choose the right treatment. Not for everyone, for you. A bacterial defense task turned into a tool. Precision begins. It searches for a sequence you define. Then, exact. Here is the revolution. You provide the correction. The cell repairs itself, we write.
Rewrite.
For the first time, a genetic disease was cured. Permanent. Not managed. Not treated. Cured.
For the first time.
This is just the beginning. The pipeline, White, is extraordinary.
Many targets.
2 women is a one discovery. A moment worth remembering.
Historic.
8 years without movement. A body that does not respond. Locked in. No hands. I just thought. Mind to machine. For the first time, thought becomes action. Magic made real. From this to this. That is the distance medicine has traveled. Same question, new tools. Neuralink is not alone. This is a field being born. Multiple paths, one direction. If thought can move a cursor, what else can it move? And what else can it reveal? Careful. Artificial intelligence is reading by within what we miss. Predicting before it happens. Pattern at scale. This used to take years. Now it takes seconds. Solved. Disease often begins here. Host shape determines function. If we understand the shape, we can design the solution. Structure is destiny. Discovery used to take decades, and now it takes months. Compressed. In 48 hours, and a new antibiotic. Never seen before. The enemy evolves, and so do we. This is not a story. This is a race. No finish line. The stethoscope extended our senses. Imaging let us see inside. And now, AI extends our memory beyond human limits. No specialist. Same accuracy.
Access.
Medicine is becoming location independent. Technology is closing the gap. Not equal, but closer. For most of history, life was short. Then everything changed. Unprecedented.
40 extra years, ward of life, given and meant by medicine. A lifetime.
Same species, but different outcomes. Medicine has not reached everyone equally.
Not yet.
The problem is no longer discovery, it is delivery, distribution. Same vaccine, but different timing. Time became inequality. Years matter. Oh, really?
Closing the gap. Take systems. Progress, not perfection. Moving forward.
Medicine is not just science, it is choice. And not all answers. Now it's up to us. If we can cure one, we can target others. Single mutation, single solution. This is where it changes everything. Not the patient, the future patient. Changes that are inherited. Power without consensus. The door has been opened, and it cannot be closed. The question is no longer if, but how. Who decides? We are learning you to grow replacement parts. Built, not donated. Every day, you people die waiting. If we can grow organs, there is no waiting, no rejection. Aging-o is not random. It is biological, targetable. If we can extend life, should we? For whom? Medicine moves fast, ethics follows. And society decides, eventually. This is not a metaphor. This thou. And we are finding rave knees fine and reins to the beginning. Chapter 1. Let me bring this together.
Two worlds, same question.
10,000 years ago, someone drilled a hole in a living skull and the patient survived. Last year, someone moved a cursor with their thoughts and it was called ordinary.
We started with rewrite possibility.
The distance between those two moments is everything we have been doing. Every mistake, every discovery, every scientist who was right too early never stopped moving. Semmel, who saved hundreds of lives and died from the infection he fought. Vesalius, who looked where no one was allowed to look. Progress remembers, even when people forget. And the patients. Every patient who survived when they shouldn't have. Every disease that doesn't exist anymore. Every child who the reason it mattered. Medicine is not a collection of facts. It is a practice of humility. Every answer becomes a question. The Semmelweis of today exists somewhere, making a discovery we are refusing to believe. Will you listen this time? I want to leave you with a question. Not a test, a choice. If you could go back to one moment in medical history, one discovery, one experiment, one patient, one conversation,
And what would you want to witness?
I'd go to Vienna. I'd walk into a stall. I'd with that hospital. Hundreds of lives.
if you want to know where medicine goes next, what the next revolution looks like, subscribe. We'll get there together. Let's continue the journey. And leave a comment. Which moment in medical history do you wish you could have witnessed? I read every one.
We have stories, have choices.
Next week, we go inside the neuroscience of fear, why we fear, what fear does to the body, and why the things we fear most are rarely the things that will actually harm us.
Signal incoming.
Signal received.
One more thing. Several things, actually. For those who want to go deeper.
Now we go further.
The Black Death. It killed 30 to 60% of Europe's population. Possibly 200 million people worldwide. The response to the Black Death produced something important. Quarantine, from the Italian quarantina, 40 days. Venice first, then everywhere. Time as protection. The response to the Black Death produced something important. The first public health measures. Quarantine, from the Italian quarantina, meaning 40 days. Venice first, then everywhere. The Black Death also broke feudalism. Labor was so scarce that peasants could demand rights they had never had. Medical catastrophe reshaping social structure. Disease has always shaped history. The Spanish flu of 1918 killed more people than World War I. 50 million in a single year. It changed the map of the world. In 1900, the top causes of death in the US were pneumonia and influenza, tuberculosis, gastrointestinal infections, all infectious diseases. Today, heart disease, cancer, accidents. The shift is medicine. We conquered infectious disease, partially, and discovered chronic disease. The reward for living longer is more years in which something else can go wrong. The nursing profession, Florence Nightingale. She went to Crimea and found soldiers dying of preventable infections. She introduced sanitation. She collected data. She created. Nightingale is remembered as a kind nurse. She was a statistician who used data to end preventable deaths. She invented evidence-based nursing. She was underestimated for the same reason Franklin was. Dr. Charles Drew invented the blood bank. He saved thousands of lives in WA. He was also black in America, forbidden from donating to the blood banks he created. Medicine's history is also a history of exclusion. Who was denied education, whose bodies were used for experiments without consent, whose pain was dismissed or undertreated. The US government observed 319 black men with syphilis, withholding treatment even after penicillin became available, for 40 years, to see what happened. This history matters because it created lasting distrust of medical institutions in black communities, a distrust that cost lives during COVID. The shadow of Tuskegee reaches into 2024. Any history of medicine that doesn't reckon with this history is incomplete. And medicine cannot address health inequity until it reckons with the inequity it caused. Henrietta Lacks, a black woman whose cancer cells, helicati, were taken Horta cells, her cells and 1951 in biomedical laboratory in the world. Let me tell you about one more figure history books often skip. Dr. Alice Ball, she developed the first Frank effects in Kier. A colleague published her research without crediting her. The pattern repeats: a woman's discovery, a man's credit. Medicine's history is full of these erasures. Full recognition for Alice Ball came 82 years after her death. What are the great unsolved problems in medicine today? Alzheimer's disease, ALS, Parkinson's, pancreatic cancer, the diseases that have resisted us longest. Alzheimer's, 55 million people worldwide, a disease that erases identity. Current treatments slow progression but cannot stop it. The clinical trial failure rate is 99%. But in 2023, the FDA approved lecanemab, the first drug that actually slows Alzheimer's progression, not just symptoms. A 27% reduction, not a cure, but a beginning. ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, still fatal, survival typically 2 to 5 years after diagnosis. But researchers identified new genetic targets, clinical trials beginning, the picture is changing. Pancreatic cancer, 5-year survival rate of 12%, because it is silent until advanced. But liquid biopsies, detecting cancer DNA in blood before symptoms, may change the story. The recurring theme in every medical breakthrough, seeing what couldn't be seen before. The microscope, the X-ray genome sequencer, the AI. We keep building better eyes. Parasitic diseases. Malaria still kills 600,000 people per year, mostly children in sub-Saharan Africa. Distribution is the challenge, not science. Tuberculosis kills 1.3 million people per year. It is curable. What the enemy is poverty and drug access, not medical ignorance. HIV/AIDS in 1985, a diagnosis was a death sentence. Today, antiretroviral therapy makes HIV a manageable chronic condition. People diagnosed today have near normal life expectancy. PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, prevents HIV transmission with 99% effectiveness. We have had the tool to end new HIV infections for over a decade. Why haven't we? The COVID-19 pandemic was also a demonstration of what medicine can do under pressure. mRNA vaccine technology, global sequencing networks sharing viral genomes in hours, unprecedented coordination. But COVID also showed what medicine cannot do alone. Vaccine hesitancy, political interference, unequal distribution. The science succeeded, the system strained. Every pandemic teaches the same lesson. Preparation matters more than response. We never remember this lesson long enough.
No dialogue.
Let me tell you about the most important number in global health, $1, the cost alpha-retrovisols. It prevents death from diarrhea, the second leading cause of childhood mortality worldwide. No CRISPR, no Neuralink, just clean salt and sugar and clean water. The most cost-effective medical intervention in history, and still not universally available.
No dialogue.
Medicine contains both the extraordinary, brain chips and gene editing, and the painfully simple. Sometimes what's missing isn't a breakthrough, it's a distribution system. The doctor-patient relationship, perhaps the oldest constant in all of medicine. Before any instrument existed, before any drug, a healer sat with a patient and listened. And yet we are in danger of losing it. Average primary care appointment, 17 minutes. Electronic health records that make doctors stare at screens, not patients. Burnout at record levels. The great challenge of 21st century medicine is keeping the human relationship at its center as the technology becomes overwhelming.
No dialogue.
One more story. Nicholas Christakis, a physician sociologist, showed in 2010 that health is contagious. Your friend's health behaviors affect yours. Your happiness is influenced by people 3 degrees removed. Loneliness is as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. We've known this for years. Medicine has yet to fully integrate it.
No dialogue.
Social prescribing. Doctors prescribing social connection. Activities, groups, volunteering, alongside or instead of medication. Used in the UK. Growing worldwide. Medicine is expanding its definition of what it treats. Not just the body, not just the mind, but the social context in which both exist. The future. In 30 years, routine genetic screening at birth for every treatable genetic condition. Liquid biopsies catching cancers years before symptoms. Personalized drugs designed for your genome. Brain-computer interfaces enabling people with paralysis to walk. Regenerated organs. The line between treatment and enhancement becoming unclear. And questions we cannot yet answer. If we can enhance memory, should we? If we can extend life to 150 years, should we? Who is the we in that sentence? 10,000 years ago, someone made a choice to drill into a living skull, not knowing if it would work. They did it anyway. That courage, that refusal to accept, is the same energy that drives medicine today. I became a scientist because someone saved my life. A physician who saw something in a routine and examination that shouldn't have been there, and did something about it.
They don't know what they did.
Every person watching this has a story like that. A doctor who was right, a medication that worked, a surgery that shouldn't have succeeded but did. You are here because medicine worked. 5,000 years of humans refusing to die, and refusing to let each other die. That's medicine. That's all of it. Let me end with the people whose names we don't know. The first surgeon, nameless, who drilled that first hole. The first person who boiled water and noticed that fewer people died. The nurse in the Crimean tent who held a dying soldier's hand through the night.
The village healer in 14th century China who quarantined the sick and saved a community whose name we don't know.
And the patients. The 8-year-old James Hipps who was vaccinated before vaccines existed. Gilbert Abbott who breathed ether in a packed theater and woke up. Their courage to be the first is what medicine runs on. Before the evidence, there is always a person willing to say yes. The history of medicine is still being written. Right now, somewhere, a researcher is looking at a contaminated petri dish and thinking, that's funny, we just don't know who they are yet. Maybe it's someone watching this. Maybe it's you. If you are in medicine, or thinking about medicine, here is what the history tells you. The most important discoveries come from people who paid attention when everyone else looked away. And here is what it tells everyone else. The healers of every age, from the Incan surgeon to the CRISPR researcher, are doing something profoundly important. Give them the time, the funding, and the trust they need. Final question, and I mean this as a genuine question, not a rhetorical one. If you had one disease to cure, one that medicine hasn't cracked yet, what would it be? Why? Write it in the comments. Seriously, I read them. And sometimes, those conversations turn into the next episode. Like if you learned something you didn't know before, share if someone in your life needs to hear this, subscribe because the next episode, The Neuroscience of Fear, is going to shake how you understand your own reactions.
5,000 years. Stone knives to brain chips. And we are only in the early chapters.
One more thing. I realized I didn't mention Ibn al-Nafis, 13th century Damascus. He described pulmonary circulation, blood going from the heart to the lungs to get oxygen 300 years before it was accepted in Europe.
Harvey discovered general circulation in 1628. Al-Nafis described pulmonary circulation in 1242, another name the history books don't always include.
And Zhu Chongji, in 5th century China, was calculating pi more accurately than any European mathematician for 1,000 years. Knowledge doesn't emerge from one place. It never has. The history of medicine is a global history. Every continent, every culture contributed. Our textbooks often don't reflect this. That's changing, slowly. The Ayurvedic tradition of India, 5,000 years old, sophisticated understanding of body systems, diet, and lifestyle as medicine, millennia before Western medicine caught up. Traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbal medicine, the understanding of qi as a metaphor for physiological flow, still informing research today. Taxol, one of the most important cancer drugs, derived from the Pacific yew tree. The knowledge of the tree's medicinal properties, long held by indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest. The lesson: every tradition of healing has something to offer. Dogmatic dismissal wastes knowledge. Rigorous testing, yes. Dismissal without testing, no. Medicine, at its best, has always been humble. It looks at what works, then asks why, then uses the why to do more. We began with a skull and a stone knife. 10,000 years of curiosity, courage, and stubbornness later, we are reading genomes and moving cursors with thoughts.
The person who drilled that first hole didn't know they were starting something. They just saw a person in pain and tried.
That impulse, I must try, is still what medicine runs on. Has always been, will always be.